Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another edition of my travel vlog. On 2nd March 2019, the husband and I embarked on a spiritual journey to Makkah, Saudi Arabia for performing Umrah. We took Air Arabia and the transit was in Sharjah, where my husband changed into his ihram before we got on the plane to Jeddah. After landing in Jeddah, we went through immigration, which literally took about 5 minutes. We were surprised to see all female officers working in the immigration, something which was not common 7 years ago. Oh, and if you didn't know this, I was born and brought up in Saudi Arabia and I've been visiting here after 7 years. Anyway, after immigration, we got our bags and SIM cards, which are free by the way for Umrah visitors, and they give you about 512 MB and 30 free minutes local, which is not bad, I'd say. Our friend Salman came to receive us from the airport, and then we drove with his cousin to Makkah. The distance from Jeddah to Makkah is about 90 kilometers. That's an hour and 10 minutes. The roads looked so beautiful. We came here after such a long time. It brought back nostalgia for us. Seeing the mountains, the desert, being in Saudi Arabia in general, we were really happy. Anyway, we reached Makkah about 7 p.m. in the evening and checked into our hotel Lamar Ajia 2. The hotels are now all further away from the masjid area. Ours was about 2 kilometers away from the masjid. This is because all the previous street shops have been broken, and they did this so that the pilgrims can have more space to walk freely around the masjid. Although our hotel was 2 kilometers away, our hotel provided free shuttle service twice every hour. So we got our bags to our room. Since the 5 of us are staying together, we booked a family suite. We kept our bags and we made it just in time for Isha prayer. After Isha prayer, we met our friends Zibran and Nabila, and we had a quick snack just before starting our Umrah, since all of us were really hungry and we have had a very long flight. Now I'm coming to the part of Umrah. Umrah is an Islamic pilgrimage which is performed by Muslims, and this can be done at any time of the year, unlike Hajj, which has specific timings of the year where you have to perform. Umrah consists of tawaf and sa'i. Tawaf means circling the Kaaba 7 times in an anti-clockwise direction. Each round begins and ends in the black stone. When you start the tawaf, you have to be in the state of ihram, which means that men generally needs to wear 2 pieces of white clothing and females need to wear something which is not revealing. When you start the tawaf, you face towards the black stone and you say takbir and you start your tawaf. Men must keep the right shoulder uncovered during the tawaf, also known as ittiba. For the first 3 rounds, men should take quick short steps when completing the rounds, and in the last 4 they can walk normally. We were truly mesmerized and so grateful to be doing this after so long. After completion of tawaf, you need to offer 2 rakats of prayer behind Maqam Ibrahim. If you don't have space, because a lot of people are trying to pray in that spot, there is no problem. You can pray at any spot inside the mosque. Next, we move on to sa'i. Sa'i means walking between As-Safa and Al-Marwa, and this is one of the obligatory acts of Umrah. We begin at Al-Safa and we end at Al-Marwa. This needs to be done 7 times, and after we complete sa'i, men needs to have their hair cut from all the sides to make it look visible, although shaving is much better, which my husband did. He shaved his hair because it's a sunnah. According to the Prophet ﷺ, he prayed 3 times for men who got their head shaved and once for men who cut their hair. For female, they need to cut their hair at the size of the fingertip. Once you have the haircut, you have successfully exited the ihram. Later that night, we went to Al-Baik, the best fast food restaurant. I kid you not. This restaurant sells the best roast chicken and shrimps in such affordable prices. 8 pieces chicken cost about 6.67 USD or around 560 taka. In Dhaka, you can only get 2 pieces with that price and the quality is not even that good. We also tried out all sorts of food from kebsa to chicken mendi to lots and lots of shawarmas to kunafas and much more. If you're interested to know more about the food prices and suggestions, leave a comment below and I will get back to you. The rest of the days we went normally for prayers. Alhamdulillah, we were able to pray all the prayers in the mosque on time during our stay. This has been very challenging, but we feel super blessed and grateful that we were able to experience this. The number of people are increasing every year, and this is the reason for a lot of extensions happening inside the masjid. I'm pretty sure if you visit Masjid Al Haram every other year, you will definitely notice changes. This is the bus stop where we used to catch our bus from. If you get out from gates 90 to 94 or from Tawaf first floor area and then walk 7 to 8 minutes, you will notice the different shuttle buses from hotels used to pick up pilgrims. During our stay in Makkah, we decided to check out an important place in the history of Islam, Mount Jabal Nour. This is where Prophet Muhammad ﷺ received his first revelation by Angel Jibril, the first 5 ayats of Surah Al-Alaq, inside Cave Hira, which is situated inside Jabal Nour mountain. We started for Jabal Nour just after Fajr prayer, about 7 a.m. and took a taxi to reach the site. The taxi dropped us at the base of the site. Then we had to climb the steep hill before starting the actual hike. This was one of the difficult hikes we did, and it was very steep. It takes about 1200 walking steps to reach Cave Hira, which itself is about 5 feet 3 inch in height and 12 feet in length. We were informed by our driver that the Pakistanis made these stairs for pilgrims to visit the mountain. The mountain is about 2100 feet tall, and the main feature which differentiates Jabal al-Nour from all the other mountains is that it looks as if 2 mountains are on top of each other. Subhanallah, we were really amazed at how Prophet Muhammad ﷺ used to climb here often to meditate and pray in the cave, and how physically fit he must have been back in those days when there was no stairs. It took us about 45 minutes to reach to the top of Jabal al-Nour, where we could see Cave Hira. There were separate steps for Cave Hira, and we saw many people were praying just at the opening of Cave Hira, which is only big enough for 2 persons. You can also see the Makkah clock tower from the top of the mountain. So just imagine the journey our Prophet used to take to come here. Subhanallah. We were glad to do this hike and witness this historical place despite our extremely busy schedule. I've tried to sum up my Makkah trip in less than 10 minutes. It was a journey of 4 days, and Alhamdulillah, I have truly felt blessed to be able to witness Masjid Al Haram and praying in that mosque again after 7 long years. If you know me, then you know that I was born and brought up over there, and we had to leave unfortunately in 2012. But going back to Makkah after 7 years and being able to witness it this time with my partner, Alhamdulillah, I felt really blessed. I was so grateful to hear the azans, the beautiful azan, praying on time. It was actually a big challenge, waking up, catching the shuttle, making sure I don't miss any prayers, and then we even ended up doing few extra tawafs. And of course there was the food journey in between, where if you followed me on Instagram, you saw that how often we went out during those prayer breaks in between to eat and try new food which are generally not available here in Dhaka. Also, I would like to take this moment and tell you guys some extra tips if you are planning your journey to Saudi Arabia in Makkah. So tip number 1, if you are flying through Jeddah and there is a transit in between, it's wise for you to change your ihrams, especially for men. It's wise for you to change your ihram in the transit airport than in the airplane, And to our horror, I wish I was kidding about this, people were actually changing it on plane while the plane was taking off, even though the cabin crew told them that they could go and change it in their washrooms, but they kept changing it on their seats. So to avoid embarrassment or uncomfortableness, I think it's better if you change it in the transit airport, and obviously you have to do it before the miqat point. Tip number 2 is if you are an Umrah visitor, which we were, you can collect your free SIMs after you check out from immigration in the Jeddah airport, and I would suggest that you take STC because STC has the best network in Saudi Arabia. What they do is they check your passport, and each SIM is issued with one passport, and they will give you 30 free local minutes and 512 MB for 24 hours. So that's really good. You don't need to buy your own SIM, and you can just refill it later once that 24 hours is done, and the validity is even long, like for 3 months or so. Tip number 3 is don't do any shopping in Makkah. For first timers, I'm pretty sure that you would want to buy everything in Makkah, and you would wonder if it's better to buy in Makkah or Medina. I'm telling you, it's best to buy in Medina. Keep all your shopping for Medina because everything is expensive in Makkah. Let me give you an example. Dates, for example, the best kind, Ajwa dates, those are 40 to 45 riyals per kg in Makkah, while as in Medina it's only 25 per kg. And even if you're planning to buy oud perfumes, they are way cheaper in Medina, and you can find better kind. And even food, well, food varies. So we lived on 7 days. It's a croissant in Makkah, which was only 1 riyals, but then when we went to Medina, it was 1.5 riyals. So food, it's varies very little though, but if you are planning to shop, I'd suggest you save up and go to Medina and shop. Which brings me to tip number 4. So the shuttle buses are provided for each hotels, and hotels are usually far from the masjid because the masjid, they broke down all the previous shops to give more space for the pilgrims to walk through, and all the hotels are far, but they provide shuttle buses. Although shuttle buses have a schedule, and it can be very challenging to again maintain that schedule. So what I'd suggest is, this is what we did. So we prayed Fajr, and obviously we came back with the shuttle bus. We slept for 4.5 hours or so, and then we went again for Zohar, and sometimes we would just stay after Zohar till Isha, the entire time in the mosque area, and we would get out after each prayers, or after 1 or 2 prayers later we would get out and have our lunch, maybe roam around that place, and then go back again for prayer. So in this way you won't be missing out any prayers, hopefully, inshallah. Or what you can do is you can even come back after Zohar, since there is about 3 hours gap from Zohar to Asr. But when you go for Asr, you stay till Isha because the gaps are not that longer, the azan gaps, and it will be wiser to actually stay within the area than to come back and risk the chance of actually missing any prayer. Tip number 5 is, if you are planning to do extra tawafs, then I'd suggest you do it in the afternoon, which is right after Zohar prayer, especially if you have the intention of touching the black stone or the Yemeni corner side stone, or even pray in the behind Maqam al-Ibrahim in the paradise area. Then it's better to do it after Zohar prayer. Why I suggest this? It's because the crowd is less. Still a lot of crowd now, surprisingly, like too much crowd, and at Zohar prayer we had difficulty touching it, but in the Isha prayer we couldn't even touch it at all. So we did tawaf twice, once after Zohar prayer and once between Maghrib and Isha prayer time we did it. And even though it was cooler to do it in the evening, but you couldn't touch or pray because the crowd was way more compared to Zohar prayer. tip number 6, which is my final tip, I would say that try all sorts of Arabian food. Try all the food in Saudi Arabia, from shawarmas to kebsas to chicken mandis to laham mandis. And if you want to try out the best chicken mandi and laham mandis, I'd suggest Shawaya House, or even in the Hilton area, which is Al Hira restaurant. The shawarma was really great, and it was the best I've had in Makkah. And we basically tried out all the different kinds of food, because the quality of food in Saudi Arabia is way too awesome to miss out on. And those of you who already tried Saudi Arabian food, they know that what I'm talking about, of course. So if you want more suggestions on food and how much each food costed and what should you try out, then please do leave a comment below and I'll get back to you. I'm more than happy to help. I really hope that you liked watching my video. If you did like my video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for my Medina vlog, which will be coming out in about a week or so. And inshallah, till then, see you. Bye bye.